This week I got another excellent question from a viewer, and it's about how to check out a construction company who you're considering hiring to work on your home or your business. Hi, Larry K here with ShadowAnyone.com and the creator of the Investigator's Ultimate Guide series, premium private investigator training from someone who's been there and done that. And this is a question I got by email. If you are a private investigator, you will get these calls as well. And like a lot of the questions you'll get, you're brought in after there's a problem. So in this case, the viewer, they had, I believe it was their sister, had hired somebody who had done, and I forget the specifics now, shoddy work, or left halfway through, or took the money, didn't do the work, that type of thing. And it became this big kerfuffle, if I can use the word kerfuffle. I don't even know what that means exactly, but it became a problem. And this is when you do get those calls as an investigator. But the viewer was asking, because she's studying about being a private investigator and wants to learn more, she's asking, okay, hey, what could you do as an investigator to check somebody out in this circumstance before you hire them? So in other words, she's saying, hey, I know we got a lot of mess to undo here with this, and it's probably going to require a lawyer. But in the future, do you have any ideas for us on choosing on how to choose a contractor? And yes, I'm going to share some things with you. Number one, and she told me that she did check this guy out with the Better Business Bureau. Now, here's the thing. I don't know a lot about that, but I'm not a big believer in the Better Business Bureau, and here's why. There's a saying that says, if something is free, you are not the customer, you are the product. And I love that. In other words, like when you watch online videos for free, right? Now you'll notice it's free, but they're not doing it for your benefit. They're doing it because they want to put advertisements in front of you. You are the product. The online video people who are giving it to you for free are using you as the product. They're selling you to advertisers. Now you'll notice on the videos that I do, there are no advertisements. There's no little, right, they got a little thing here that that's annoying that clicks up. There's nothing like that here for me. And if you see an advertisement on any of my videos, it ain't for me. I don't authorize it. I don't want to force you to watch it. If there's a little clip you got to watch before you watch me, that ain't me. I don't want that. I don't authorize it. Ignore them. I'm sorry you have to watch that. I have no control if someone's jamming an advertisement on here. I'm not advertising to you. I'm just happy to teach you here. So get back to this idea of you're not paying for it. And do you pay for Better Business Bureau? You do not. Who pays for the Better Business Bureau? The members pay. The companies pay. Now when there's a problem and someone brings the complaint to the Better Business Bureau, who's the Better Business Bureau going to... They may be interested in helping the consumer, but let's face it, they're not getting paid by the consumer. Their members are going to have every opportunity to resolve the discrepancy, right? Resolve the dispute. So when you call the Better Business Bureau, and maybe your first thing you get is, we take your claim very seriously. We've contacted the company and asked them to resolve this. Please let us know in 10 days if you're not satisfied. Well, that's just blowing you off for 10 days. And I'm not saying the Better Business Bureau does that. I'm just suggesting that might be something that happens. But now you've got to go basically file a complaint twice. That doesn't sound like consumer advocacy to me. And what you'll see, sometimes you'll call the Better Business Bureau, check on a company, and they'll say, there are no unresolved disputes with this member. They're in good standing. No unresolved dispute. Well, how many times did someone file a complaint against them and just be so disgusted that 10 days later they didn't come back and refile the complaint? So, in my view, the results for the Better Business Bureau are skewed towards the members of the Better Business Bureau. So make the call, check to see if there's any complaints or problems with them. The most egregious people will be booted out for sure, so maybe that's a good starting point. Here is the real place you want to check for complaints against businesses, and that is with your state attorney general's office. Those are the ones who are in charge of filing charges and against businesses. Now, a lot of times, 99% or more of complaints against businesses and problems with businesses don't rise to that level where the consumer approaches the Attorney General's office, most of the time it has to be so egregious before the Attorney General will step in. But there's a more consumer-based, citizen-based place where you can find information about a company. That's the Attorney General's office. So check there, either in addition to or in place of the Better Business Bureau. Just keep in mind that complaints against companies are not commonly filed there, only for the worst of the worst. So now we talk about a contractor, somebody you're going to bring into your house to do kitchen work or what type of thing. You can background check the company to some extent, right? But company names, and the person who emailed me, they ran into this where, you know what, you're having trouble with the company, you shut that company down, you start a new company, right? Very easy. Your company may not have a lot of history, but it now has no complaints, no problems against it either, right? So if Joe's Handyman Service had so many complaints and problems, Joe just shuts that down and opens up Bob's Handyman Service or whatever. It doesn't matter to him what the name of the company is, right? And now he's got a nice clean company, no complaints against it, no problems. At this point you want to go and look at the individual. And just like you would do a background check on most people, here's where you start. I've talked about it before in another one of my videos. The number one place. You know what? I don't think I even shared it on a video. I think I only have shared this previously with my email subscribers. That's true. If you're not on my email list, go over to shadowanyone.com, and on the very front page there, I have a free report titled, "If you want to be a private investigator, give up unless you do these 3 things." When you get that report, you'll be on my email list. And one of the things that I did contact my email list is the very first place I search a name when I have it, and I'll share that with you here. It's the municipal court or lower court system. This is the court system in your county. It's at the county level where you get traffic citations, small claims courts are filed there. Misdemeanor crimes, some assaults, public intoxication, those types of things you'll find in the lower court or municipal court in your county. That's a great place to run the name of the person who you're going to have do work on your home, just to see what comes up, to see, do they have, OMVIs or whatever the problem might be. None of these may be deal breakers for you, not necessarily a deal breaker for me. But if you see that they do have charges against them for maybe theft or other types of things, at least you'll be able to make an informed decision using the municipal court or lower court website and checking on cases that have been filed against them. Also there, you might be able to find liens, or this might even be in the upper court of your county, the common pleas court it's sometimes called. See if there are any liens against this individual, his company, his property. If his privately owned house has liens against it, that tells you he owes somebody enough money that they went through the problems and the trials of approaching the court and getting a lien against his house, and that may be somebody you want to avoid. So these are some ways you can look at an individual. Let me get you three or four things here. Let me give you a few things when I'm looking for a person. Number one, and this is a thing that you're really going to need, is get references from the person. The references they give you, the previous clients they worked for, are going to be good, right? There's no doubt about that. However, if your person you're looking to hire cannot come up with any previous clients who can say good things about them, that's a problem. So if they can't give you at least one, preferably 3 references, that's a red flag there. Wow, that's kind of something to watch out for. When I hire people, I want their references. I want something to look at there. Number 2 thing I want to look at from these people is I want a certificate of insurance. Now, this is issued by their insurance company, and it shows that they have valid insurance. I don't want them working on my home, on my property, if they're not really truly insured. And number 3, I want to see a certificate from the Bureau of Workers' Compensation that they are actually paying workers' comp for their workers, or even for themselves if they need to. Those 3 things will save you a lot of heartache. If they've got those 3 things and readily, easily available, and they hand them to you, more power to you. If you are a contractor watching this and want to know what do we do behind the scenes, get a folder ready, prepare it, have 3 references, have a certificate of insurance, and have your workers' compensation certificate in there. You'll be the only contractor that hands this to somebody, and it gives you a real heads up on business. Let me give you one final bonus thing here. I wrote it down so I would not forget it. This is something that I throw into the contracts when I have work done for me. And that is a penalty or a fine for every day that the work is late. And I am really super nice about this, but I'll say to somebody, look, they're going to pour concrete. I'll say, when will this be done? When will the patio be poured? When will the work be done? And they'll give me a date. And I'll say, look, now, is that enough time? Do you need an extra 2 weeks? Do you need an extra month? Because I want to be fair about this. I don't want you to be rushed. No, absolutely, Mr. K, this is when we'll be done. All right. What I'd like to do, I'll say to them, is let's put in the contract that for every day that past that it's not done, you knock $50 off the job. Does that sound okay to you? I've never had anybody squawk at this. And I will even say to them again, I said, even with that, do you need an extra 2 weeks? Do we want to do this you need an extra month? I am really fair about this. But I will tell you, on at least one occasion that I've done this, the worker has come back to me, the business has come back to me later and said, Larry, I'm going to be honest with you, we had another job that I would be working this morning, except we had the penalty clause in there, and so we came here to finish this first. Otherwise, honestly, it would have been tomorrow. And to me, it's not a big deal if something's one day either way. But if you don't have that clause, you know how it goes. Things tend to drag out, and eventually you're just not important to them anymore. You've already made your deposit and payment. So a little bonus tip for you, put a penalty clause in there every day that it's late, knocks so much off the bill. This is Larry K with ShadowAnyone.com. Remember, do the right thing, even if it's the hard thing.